too hot today in Greece. Judge others by yourself and you will rarely be mistaken. GURDJIEFF. This powerful phrase reflects a deep understanding of human nature and offers an essential key to truly understanding others. Self-knowledge is in fact the foundation for seeing those around us very clearly. When we commit to working on ourselves, facing our own shadows, flaws, mistakes, and the masks we wear, whether to protect ourselves or to hide our intentions, we start to develop a clearer, more rounded view of human nature. This process first teaches us to recognize ourselves in others, not with arrogance, but with a growing clarity. We begin to sense things more deeply. We notice that just like us, other people often hide behind their own defenses or wrestle with personal struggles. And seeing this lets us respond with a more genuine, kind, and a more understanding way. Just as we've created personas to get through life, so have they. The deeper meaning of philia. The Greek word philia, which gave rise to words like Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, and philanthropy, love for humanity, carries far more weight than the simple word friendship. It implies a thoughtful, almost philosophical approach to relationships, one of reflection, awareness, and choice. Philia is linked to the word philitron, filter. It means filter, and that is a very crucial connection. Real philia is about refining, about filtering what you choose to keep within yourself and what you let go of. It's a kind of inner distillation process, keeping only what is healthy and meaningful. This is something we owe to ourselves before anyone else. It is an inward journey of clarity and self-awareness. Only when we've gone through this process, sorting through our emotions, thoughts, motives, and keeping the parts that help us grow and letting go of what holds us back, we can then actually show up ready for deeper and real connection with other people. Aristotle's 3 types of friendship. In his Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle describes 3 kinds of friendship. This breakdown is incredibly useful when trying to understand how people relate to each other, and by extension, how we judge others. Friendship of utility, philia the Ophelian. This kind of friendship is built on mutual benefit. People are friends because they get something useful from each other. These relationships don't usually last long. They end up when the benefit is gone. Friendship of pleasure, philia the Idonin. This is based on enjoyment, friends who have fun together or simply like each other's company. These two can fade when the fun stops. Friendship of virtue, goodness, philia the Aretin. This is the highest and most meaningful kind. It is based on a mutual appreciation for each other's character. You want the best for the other person just because of who they are, not what you get out of it. These friendships are much deeper, lasting, and help both people grow. But they are very rare, and they take time and honestly to build. And here is the key point. Only when we've gone through the internal filtering or philia, when we've looked within and come to know who we really are, only then we can actually be ready for Aristotle's 3rd kind of friendship, the one that is based on virtue. And this applies to relationships, couple relationships, of course. Self-knowledge in relationships. Once you've done your inner work and come to understand your own weak spots, your values and your boundaries, it becomes much easier to know what kind of relationships really work for you, both in life and in a working environment, for example. You start to see clearly which connections are real and nourishing and which ones are based on illusions, misalignments, or roles that just don't fit you anymore. And when problems come up in a relationship, you can more easily tell whether the issue is something you need to grow through or whether it is a fundamental mismatch. And this isn't about blame or conflict, it's about making conscious choices based on self-awareness. We judge others best when we've already taken the time to look honestly at ourselves. The more we've observed, accepted, and worked through our own internal struggles, the better we become at seeing past the surface in others, the masks, the fears, the intentions. We begin to sense what our relationship is really made of, whether it serves our growth or we are just stuck somewhere serving a dysfunction. Self-knowledge, the ancient Greek gnosis avton, know thyself, becomes like an internal compass. It helps us choose wisely where we want to invest our time and energy, and when to walk away to protect our balance. Through that process, we start seeing more clearly and avoiding both self-deception and shallow assumptions about others. The rope: action, reaction, and awareness. Most people are reacting, they are never acting. Imagine holding a rope. If you hit it hard in one direction, that pull won't go unnoticed. You'll feel resistance. Maybe the rope pulls back, maybe it slips from your hands, maybe someone is on the other end and pulling too. Every action, every thought or feeling is like pulling that rope. And just like the rope responds, everything we do has some kind of return. Every cause leads to an effect, and every effect came from some cause. The pull is our choices, how we speak, how we act, and even how we think and how we feel. And each time we pull, something moves. If we pull too forcefully, something might snap or rebound. If we hold the rope gently with steadiness, balance is kept. The rope could be your own life, or a relationship, or a specific challenge. And how you handle it, how you pull, determines what you will experience. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to let go of the rope and go have a coffee. In the end, where you put your energy is your choice. What we often call karma isn't some kind of divine punishment or cosmic scoreboard. It's simply the natural echo of our own actions. It's cause and effect. And the more you understand that, the more power you have to guide your own life consciously, choosing when to pull, when to pause, and when to release. A living example: Damon and Phintias. The story of Damon and Phintias, two Pythagoreans, students of Pythagoras, is one of the most powerful expressions of what Aristotle called the friendship of virtue. Phintias was sentenced to death by Dionysius, the tyrant of Syracuse, and he requested a few days to leave to set his affairs in order and say goodbye to his loved ones. Damon, his closest friend, offered to take his place in prison, pledging that if Phintias didn't return in time, he would die instead. Dionysius agreed, convinced that no one would be foolish enough to risk their life for someone else. But Phintias returned, just in time and ready to face death. Moved by their loyalty and trust, Dionysius spared both, and according to the story, even asked to become their friend himself. This was no friendship of convenience or pleasure. It was forged through character, inner discipline, and a shared moral foundation, the kind of bond that only grows between people who have faced themselves honestly. The Pythagoreans didn't take friendship lightly. They took an oath of friendship and was considered sacred. Their emblem, the pentagram, it wasn't just a symbol. It represented a life lived in harmony with the nature of things, κατά φύσιν ζωή. And that nature, the true nature of reality, cannot be found when we live unconsciously. It remains hidden as long as we haven't looked at our wounds, our masks, and the false self we mistake for real. The path to true friendship, to right discernment, and to wise judgment of others always begins within. And sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply to see clearly. Thank you very much. Bye.